Okay, it's the 29th of April. It's a Tuesday, and we got about 30 minutes to the NY Open. Let's go to the charts. I think sound is good. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the calendar first. So today, no news first 2 hours of NY Open, but later on there is news. Keep that in mind. Later on there is news. This is not an important news event. The reason I say keep that in mind is the way price action is beginning to form, right? So there might be a trade post the streams, right? After NYSE Open, there is there might be a trade, right? A good trade after NYSE Open. Okay, but for the first 2 hours of the NY session, no news. Okay, just a second. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Right. So weekly, we rejected 3,500. That was way too expensive for gold, and we pushed down. That was a massive weekly candle. Yesterday was Monday. There was a push up from this area from 3265. Price pushed back up. 3265 and 3289. Both these levels, price pushed up. And we have a big wick at the bottom. Now, there is a range here. It's clearly there is a range here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 candles in a range, right? That's I would say from about here to about here. That's about a 540 pip range, right? 540 pip range. Now today there is no news. Price is pushing down inside this range, 540 pip range. Let me just draw a square here, just so that just okay, you can just keep it as green or maybe yellow. This green is better. It's more visible. Okay, so inside this range, yeah, about a 540 pip range, we might be able to take a trade, right? Because that's a plus 500 pip range, right? That's the top of the range, and that's the bottom of the range, right? So we're going to, when price comes down, we're going to look for, obviously we're going to do analysis and look for a zone in that area. There should be a zone, a 4-hour zone in that area. And then we wait for candle confirmation to take a trade going up. And if you come up here, then obviously there'll be a zone in that area. We'll look for candle confirmations to come down, right? That's the range. That's the plan for today. Let's go to the chart. So yesterday, no trades yesterday. I didn't give out any setups either. Price just pushed up. No confirmations. This was a supply zone. Price did not drop to the liquidity candle or to demand. It just grabbed liquidity at 3289 and formed support, 30-minute support, but there is no pullback as you can see, and just price just continued up all the way to 3350, right? Absolutely offering no pullbacks and no entries, and that happens sometimes. So there was no trades that were. I did take a trade. I think we managed risk around, I think 3299 or just above that, and that's it. Okay, let's get rid of all of this. Okay, I think that's good. Yeah, that's clean. Okay, just put this up here. Right. So let's start with supply. There is clearly supply here. This is this is the source. Let's just go back here. There's a drop base drop here. There's a basin candle, drop base drop. And we created, this is a reaction, and we created supply. Price came back up, it dropped, then came back up, created supply again. That's a second reaction. And then it came here and it dropped, and now it's come for the third time. And again, we have supply here formed. Okay, so let's draw this supply. Let's draw it as new supply. Okay, we're going to take a look at that on the 1 hour time frame because we've crossed we've gone up and we've come down from 3350. So we're going to take a look at this on the 1 hour time frame. Also this area on the 1 hour time frame, right? So yeah, I think this is good for the 4 hour, 306, 526. Okay, let's take a look at the 1 hour, 30 minutes maybe. It's very ugly on the 30 minutes, but there is a zone here. So on the 30-minute, there's a zone here because we've crossed a weekly SR level. That's a drop. 1, 2, 3, 4 basin candles, and then the clean drop, right? So this high is 40.01, 627. We're going to move this up here so we don't overlap it. Yeah, 40.01. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, then extend this as well. Size 53.06. Let's get rid of this liquidated candle for now. So what I've done is I've pushed this zone up so we don't overlap. So that's yesterday's zone, and we have two new supply zones here. This is a 1 hour, this is a 4 hour zone, and this is a 1 hour zone. Yeah, drop, base drop, visible on the 1 hour. Okay. That's yesterday's 4 hour zone. And have we crossed the 50% mark? No, we haven't. 252. No, we haven't. So that's still a high liquidity zone. All right, those are the supply zones, right? We're going to extend this to the right as well. in case price pushes up. That's about 700 pips covered to the upside. I think we need to cover a bit more. And I'm going to extend this liquidity candle also to the right. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's 900 and that's nearly 1,000 pips to the upside. Okay, that's a 4-hour supply zone. Yeah, and that's no longer a high liquidity zone because prices come deep into this zone. Okay. All right, let's take a look at demand. Again, we're going to get rid of this. No, we can keep that liquidity again. That wasn't touched yesterday. In fact, the demand zone, we're going to just extend it to the right because it wasn't touched at all yesterday. We just pushed up from here. We didn't come to demand at all. This candle just pushed up. But we have a drop, a base, and a rally here, right? Now, just like here, we have, that's one, this is the source, this is a reaction, and we formed 4-hour demand. This is a second reaction, and we formed 4-hour demand. This is a third reaction, and we formed 4-hour demand. Drop, 3 base-in candles, and a rally, right? So let's mark that out here. Let's, as a new zone. 511. This low. 799. Then we're going to bring this down so we don't overlap the zone. We haven't broken below this low, right? So we still have the zone, but it's not a high liquidity zone. Slow is 67.99. Yeah. And this liquidity candle, I'm going to delete that liquidity candle. We'll redraw the liquidity candles. What happened here? Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah, covered. I think that's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. These are all old zones. So the new zones that we have is these two and this. One 4-hour demand zone, a 4-hour supply, and a 1-hour supply, right? And let's take a closer look at these zones now. One second, let me just save this and see which are high liquidity zones. We've also crossed this. I want to take a look at this area on the 30-minute. We've crossed, yeah, we've crossed a BRN here. There is another zone there. That one right there. Yeah, that's the zone. It's a rally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base in kennels and a rally. That's a base there because we've crossed this, right? So you got to mark that out. 210, 213, 501, 213. Yeah, that's better. Bring this down here. Yeah, that's better. It's cleaner. M30 demand. So 2 new demand zones and 2 new supply zones. Okay, let's take a look at this area and see if this has taken out any demand to the left. This move down, let's go to the 30-minute time frame. Yes, there is a rally, base rally here. Was taken out by these two candles that came down, started here. So this is a high liquidity zone. Okay. And then this one here, yeah, we had a rally, 3 basin candles and a rally. And this move down, took out this move down, this candle here that started here from here, took out this. So this too is a high liquidity zone. Okay. Let's go to demand. Let's check on the 1 hour first. Did this take out anything? Yes, it did. This big candle took out this drop, base, drop. 2 basin candles and a drop. We broke above this high right here. So this is a high liquidity zone. And then this one here, this demand took out, there is supply right here. There is a rally, a base, and a drop, and this move up. This candle, this wick here took out that high. So this too is a high liquidity zone. Perfect, right? And this one isn't. That one at the top also isn't. Okay, perfect. Now, if price comes back here, let's look at this area and see if there's a high liquidity candle in this 30-minute demand zone, right? Let's start at the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, there is nothing except for this big candle. Let's go down to the 30-minute. On the 30-minute, would be this. That's a 92, 93 pip candle. 94. 93. 7. 93. Maybe this one. Let's go to the 15-minute. There's nothing on the 15. Clearly nothing on the 15. And price has gone past this. Yeah, we could be going right through. Yeah, this one right here. Yeah, 440501. Okay, and let's take a look at the zone below. We have this big 1 hour candle and also this doji. That's 186 pips. This one is 189. That one's larger. Let's go to the 30-minute. 142. Yeah. Let's go to the 15. 113. Yeah. 33522. Perfect. So this is on the 30-minute and that's on the 15-minute, right? So we have a BRN here, we have a liquidity candle, we have a weekly SR level, and then we have another liquidity candle. So there's a lot of liquidity below. That's why I said that we're in a range. So when price comes up, comes down here, we can look for confirmations to push back up. Okay, let's take a look at supply. Okay, let's start on the 1 hour. It would be this big candle right here with a huge wick. Let's start with that wick. Whenever I see a large wick like that from a liquidity level, from a weekly SR level, that's a liquidity grab. I repeat that over and over again here on the streams. Yeah, there's a 30-minute candle there. 172 pips. 3. Let's go to the 15. Yeah, that's it. That's the candle. 122 pips. 752. 163. This is 97. Let's look at 30-minute time frame. That's definitely liquidity. 111. 67755. Okay, that's two liquidity candles there. And above that, let's look inside here. Oh, sorry, here. $30-minute. 156 pip candle. 45. Let's go to the 15. Yeah, we're going to keep it on the 30. I think that's what we did yesterday. 816241. Yeah, perfect tap. Tap yesterday. Yeah, perfect tap yesterday, and then a drop. All right, so that's it. Those are the liquidity candles. Those are the zones. Okay, we got about 2 minutes to the NY Open. Let's take a quick look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. Right, let's go to the 50-minute time frame. Market open here. So the market opened at 33.44, around 33.44.5. Okay, and this would be, yeah. 278. Okay, this is the NY Open. We're ranging. You can see the EMAs are almost flatlining. We're ranging, right? We spoke about this. The price is in a range. Okay, so in the Asian session, we moved about almost 200 pips. And in the London session also, we moved about 200 pips. 200 in the Asian, 200 in the London. Okay, so let's take a closer look at what price has done. Okay, so we were bullish yesterday, very bullish yesterday, right? Price tapped 2389. You can see the tap at 2389 and pushed up to that range. This is the bottom of the range. We spoke about this. I drew a square here at the beginning of the stream. That's the top of the range. It's about a 540, 550 pip range, right? So price tapped here, went to the top of the range. That's where the liquidity candle is, and pushed down, right? This was it. It pushed down from the liquidity candle. The market opened in this candle. We grabbed liquidity at the liquidity candle and at 3350 here with this candle, right? And pushed down. On the way down, it created a liquidity candle. Price came down, pushed back up, grabbed liquidity from the liquidity candle, created the Asian high, came all the way down to 3329, bounced there, range there, closed below, created the Asian low, then closed back above, ranged again, closed below the Asian low, continued all the way down here, created the London low, pushed back up to the Asian high, rejected the Asian high, formed 30-minute resistance. You can see form 30-minute resistance there. That was if you're trading the London session, that's a perfect signal. When it rejects the Asian low in a downtrend, price is coming down to trade from the Asian low. When it rejects it, back to the London low, right? And that's where price is heading right now. So we created 30-minute resistance here, pushed back up to grab liquidity again. Couldn't get to the liquidity candle. Just a second. It did get to the liquidity candle. This is the liquidity candle. The entire 30-minute candle. Yeah, I don't like it, but we're going to have to bring it down to that, to this low, 291, 2.91. Yeah, 30-minute candle low. Because that's where we tapped. See, tapped once, created 30-minute resistance, tapped twice, created 30-minute resistance again, push straight down. Yeah, that would be the liquidity candle, that entire 30-minute candle. So very large candle, 170 pips. Anyway. Okay, so what do we have for, just a second. Okay, what do we have for the first 2 hours of the we've tapped the liquidity candle in the London session. We're coming down. We don't need to come back up, but we can. We've rejected the Asian low twice. 30-minute resistance is created. 30-minute resistance has been created in pre-NY. We can come to the bottom of this range. That's 150 pip push down. Yeah, we can look to take sells. right? We can look to take sells. Just have to be mindful that we have 3,300 here. So I would like sells a little higher, not here, a little higher, right? For buys from down here, I told you it's a range, so we can look to buy from here and we can look to sell from as high as possible. Price goes from there, we can look to sell down here and look for confirmations to buy from up here to go back up, right? That's the plan. Um, just give me a second. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we've formed 30-minute resistance. We can take sells, but I like price to come further up. I don't want to take sells from here because we've got we've got 3,300 right here. So further up is better. The high we come up and then look for sells, that's better. Nine seven. Yeah, price should come up, should come above this. Price should come above this. No top wick, no top wick. It should come above this, and then probably take sells to come down. That'll be better. But we can drop now, but that's okay. 30-minute resistance is formed, but there is no previous to M15 high breaks. This one is got to start from here. Pre-NY starts at IC markets over time 1400 hours, and we start from here, and yeah, so it's just one. We need another one. So price needs to come back up, or will price come straight down? Then we look for buys because that's the bottom of the range. All right. This right here, 3294, 3294, 3295 is the bottom of this range. 3294 right there. That's the bottom of the range, and that's the top of the range, right? Bottom of the range, top of the range. So we come down here, we can look for buys, or if price pulls back a bit, then we can look for sells to come down. If price, so that's the plan. We've created 30-minute resistance. If price pulls back, we can look for sells to come down. We can draw the fib and look for sells to come down. If price does not pull back but drops straight down, then we can wait for 30 minutes support to form and look for buys to go back up, right? I would prefer the sells. I would prefer the sells and then buys from down here. I would prefer sells to take down from around here, come down, and then the buys. But let's see what we get. We're right in the middle of the range. Right, so that is around 3343 and 3294. 3343. Yeah, yeah, that's the bottom. That's the top of the range, that's the bottom of the range. So we're two-thirds of the way down. So we come somewhere here, we can look for buys. If we have 30-minute support form and a tradable 30-minute bull candle close, we can take buys from down here. Or we're on the way, price is on its way down to that area. So if we pull back up here, then we can look for sells to come down because that's about a 300, 200 pip move down, right? Yeah, about 200 pip move down. We've rejected the Asian low. Should be coming to the London low, but we might have a pullback. Yeah, I think we're going to have a pullback and maybe another 30-minute resistance form before we come down. But I'm going to keep these two lines here just to um, show the bottom and top of the range. Mm, yeah, that's the majority of the trading happen inside that. The rest are all VIX. Above and below are VIX. All right, that's the majority of the trading happen inside these two. Above are the highs and the lows. 3343, 3294. I think we're going to have to wait a while today. Yeah, it's going to be we're to sit on the sidelines for a while today. If price pulls back up, can take sells. This high has broken. 1021. Yeah, broken this high. Just give me a second. So we have 30-minute resistance form here, pre-NY. This candle didn't pull back. It's just pushing down. We're coming down. We're coming down. They didn't pull back to take sells. We're coming down. We might be able to take those buys if we have confirmation, right? But we need solid confirmation. 30-minute support, a tradable 30-minute bull candle needs to close to take the buys to go back up. We're going to wait for the candle to close. We're going to wait for the candle to close. But this candle has broken this high, and this candle has broken this high. Yeah, can take sells from up here. Can take sells. Stop loss roughly at above these highs. Sells from up here. Yeah, about 35, 40 pip stop loss. Come down to 3,300. Let's see. Six minutes more for the candle to close. Let's wait. Yeah, the 30-minute candle seems like it's going to create a wick to be filled. But I like a pullback, and then it's going to wait for the candle to close. Let's see if you close it would be better if the 30-minute closes bearish and we don't form support here. That'll be better. If you close bearish and then the next candle pulls above these highs for us to take the trade to come down. Yeah, I'd like to see the 30-minute candle close bearish and not bullish. Um, so, and because that will mean that we're not forming 30-minute support, and we're not forming 15-minute support either, which is a good thing. Yeah, the 5-minute, it's okay. This is a good sign. This is a good sign. So 81 pips, that means we're going to push back up, which is good. We're going to push back up, take the cells to come down. This 5-minute candle is a good sign. We're going to probably come down. The next candles come down, create a bottom wick, and then push all the way up here. No top wick. Yeah, we're going to probably go above this range. Yeah, take those cells, come down. A lot more profit potential. If we form 30-minute support here, then that's a problem. That means then we're going up. We're going much higher, higher than all of these highs. Candle's going to close in 2.5 minutes. Let's see. If we form 30-minute support, that means we're going way up, probably back to towards the London high. But if you form a bear candle, 30-minute bear candle, then we can just have a pullback, and then price can come down. Looking forward to NFP. Looking forward to NFP. 1.5 minutes more. Let's see how the candle closes. Yeah, we're forming support. Now we could be heading higher. Could be heading higher. We're forming support. Where are we forming support at? This candle right here. Yeah, we could. Now we're pushing up. Yeah, we're forming support. So it's not here. We're going much higher. We can take buys. Can take buys. 30-minute support form. Maybe a push up here, back up here. That's possible. But no top wick. No top wick. Yeah, I would rejected the London low. Should push up. Back to the London high at least. 1140.052. Possible buys. Where can we manage risk on this if we do take a trade? Yeah, close below this 3302. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take buys here. Around 3305, 3306 maybe, or 3305. Taken a buy. Here's where I'm going to manage risk. Take another buy if we come deeper. 3302. Yeah. Come further down, I'll take another one here. Yeah. So we formed 30-minute support. We've rejected the London low, anticipating price to head back up here, right? To 3322. Yeah, it's about 150, 160 pips if we can get there. So yeah, we're pushing up now. Yeah, so here's where we're going to manage risk on this. $3,300. So 3302 and 3300, right? That's where I'm going to manage risk. Anticipating price to head back to 3322, this area. We've rejected the whole idea of the trade is this is towards the bottom of the range, not exactly the bottom, but towards the bottom. We are reacting to this big candle here on the 30-minute. That's a massive candle right there. The price has formed 30-minute support, rejected the London low. Uh, it can break this low, but technically it shouldn't, but it can. It can always break the low, come back to grab more liquidity from 3,300 and then push up, right? That is why I have two levels here, 3302, 3,300, where I'm going to manage risk. But the idea is the price to head back up to 3322. This massive candle, right? So that's why I'm expecting price to come down to this wick maybe and then push up. So 3302, 3,300. So if you break this low, 3302, I'm going to close some positions. Not everything, I'm going to close some. Okay, I'm going to close some of my positions. If the 15-minute candle closes below 3302, I'll probably close everything. But I have two levels, 3302 and 3300, right? The reason for 3302 and 3300 is because first 3302, you can see 50-minute resistance, clear resistance there, and clear support there. And again, we can see how price reacted around 3302. We closed above, we tapped, stayed above, closed below, stayed below, then closed above, stayed above. Same thing, and we tapped here, pushed down, right? And the same goes for 3300. You can see 50-minute resistance there, and here a reaction, here a reaction, here a reaction, here a reaction. So those are two important levels, right? So those are the levels where I'm going to manage risk at. But the idea is 30-minute. The idea is we were looking for buys from the bottom of the range, sells from the top of the range, right? That was the idea at the beginning. Price came to the bottom, rejected the London low. 30-minute support was formed. We said if you don't form support, then we can pull back and look for sells, but we form support. So we formed support. We've rejected the London low, and we are anticipating price to head back to the London high or the Asian low. They're both around the same area, right? You can say that the London high and the Asian high is around the same area. Yeah, you can. There, it's around. It's roughly 3322. That's where it is. 3322 is where we want to get out. 3322. Still struggling around that area. A 15-minute bull candle needs to close above this, above 3313.5 for price to head up to 3322. A 15-minute bull candle. If it doesn't, then we're coming back down. The reason for that is because 3313.55, I mean 3313.50 is because all 15-minute candles stayed below it, right? You can see we closed above, we closed back below, we stayed below. So if we close above, 15-minute candle closes above, then we're pushing straight through. We close above, we probably create a bottom wick, and then we push right through above these highs, clean space to the left here. Above the highs are clean space to the left. We're going to head to 3322. After 3322, 3324, that's the London high, 3324, and then 3329. But a 15-minute candle has to close above. Just put the numbers on this. What is the numbers? 302.13, 292.88, 9.25. 9.39. Yeah. Yeah, either of these two candles are good. Yeah. We form 15-minute resistance. Anyway, here's where we're going to manage risk. 3302. There is 13 minutes more for the 30-minute candle to close, about 13 and a half minutes. If the 30-minute closes bearish, then we're creating 30-minute support again. At that point, sorry, we're creating 30-minute resistance again. At that point, I would close the trades when we break the 30-minute low. If the 30-minute closes bearish and the next candle breaks this low, I'll close everything, because once it breaks the low, we're coming straight down, straight down. Yeah. Form 30-minute support. Yeah. Let's wait. We have 12 minutes. It's a long time. 12 and a half minutes, almost 13 minutes for the candle to close. It's plenty of time. But if the 30-minute closes bearish like this, and the next candle breaks the low, then I'm closing everything. I'm not going to wait for 3302. Closing everything. That's how you manage risk. Because once you break the low, 30-minute, if the 30-minute closes bearish, if it closes bearish, and if price breaks this low, that means we're coming straight down 3,300 and even further down. It makes no sense to hold the trade. You just close everything here. That's how you keep your losses small. But we have to wait for the candle to close. Right now, just got to wait. Because right now we have a rejection. The whole idea is we have rejected the London low, 30-minute support has formed. We came close to 3,300, almost 4 pips away, and we formed support, but no top wick. That's the worry, no top wick. When there is no top wick, we can push down. That is why I'm waiting for the 30-minute candle to close. Soon as this closes, if it closes bearish, and the next candle starts to push down and starts to break this low, I close everything. Probably take about a 30 pip loss, 40 pip loss maybe. That's fine. And for the buys to play out, a 15-minute candle needs to close above this. Above 33.1350. How was the earlier one drawn? Was it drawn like this? I think no. Way down here? No. That makes no sense. Ooh. Yeah, price has to break above these highs. We have to close above this resistance. 33, 1350. 15-minute candle needs to close above. Once we close above, 15-minute candle closes above, we're good. The next candle will pull back, break the high, and continue higher. Because there is volume. This is a lot of volume. It's a 109 pip candle, a lot of volume, but no top wick. Pushing up now. Pushing up now. Any questions on anything that I've discussed so far? On the analysis, on why I took this trade, the setup, risk management, TP levels. Now is the time to ask. Any questions, ask. I'll do my best to answer. Again, we need a 15-minute candle close, right? I'm going to put a level there, 13.5. A 15-minute candle has to close above this, 13.5 for price to push up. If we don't, if price taps this area, taps 13.50 and rejects and comes down, then we're coming deeper. We're coming deeper. Because that's exactly what happened here. Price tapped the area, 33.50, 13.50, and pushed all the way down. So we need a tap. Price needs to close above it, not just tap, close above it. It needs to convincingly close above it for price to head back up, for price to continue higher. Five minutes more for the candle to close. Let's see if we can close above or if we are going to close bearish. If there's a 30-minute candle going to close bullish, if it closes bullish, it's likely it's going to close above 13.50. If it's if it closes bearish, then we got to be careful. We got to maybe start looking at ways to manage risk. But right now, these are the levels we have, 3302, 3300 levels down here to manage risk. But obviously, if the candle closes bearish in the next 4.5 minutes, then we are going to probably manage risk here. Let's look at the 15-minute. Yeah. When the lows start to break, the 50-minute low starts to break, I'll close some positions. And then when the 30-minute low breaks, I'll close everything. That's what I'm going to do. If the 30-minute closes bearish. Three minutes more. I think price is trying to reject this area again. 33, 1350. Mm-hmm. Trying to reject that area. Let's see if we can close above. Needs to close above. Ideally with some top wick so that the next candle has a range to trade into and continue higher. If there is no top wick, then we're coming back down. This is an important level, 33, 1350. See? 33.30 closed above, closed. Look at that massive push down, one candle, 239 pips. That's how important that level is. But if we closed above, then we stayed above. We pushed all the way. So we can come to 33.29. but it needs to close above. This is how it's why it's important. See that? Big push down, closed above, came down, rejected, came down, closed above, tapped it, broke the high, went all the way up. 2 minutes more. If you get there, 230 pips, 33.29. But there's a long way to go. Price has to get above this range. Once it gets above this, we're good. Then we got clean space above this, 70, 80 pips, clean space, and the momentum, once you pick up momentum above this, we should easily push above this high and then get up to 33.29. This is the problem. 33.1350. A minute more. The candle needs to close with some top wick. Without, if no top wick, then we could pull back down. It needs top wick for a bit of wick for the next candle to trade into, and also has to close above 33.1350. We're struggling, trying to push back down. Yeah, pushing down, pushing down. Yeah, we're closing below. We closed below. Closed bullish, but we closed below. Yeah, closed below this, coming back down. We need a 15-minute candle close. Still same applies. 15-minute candle close above 33.1350 for price to head higher. If we break this high, also it's good. If this candle breaks the high, this candle, not the next one, this current candle breaks this high, the volume should take us through another 70 pips, at least 70, 80 pips. Now, how are we going to manage risk? Let's see. Look at the 15-minute. We form support here. That's a reaction to this. Yeah, we can maybe manage risk here. Let's see, what's this level? 3307.5. Yeah, there is a level there. Clearly a level there. Yeah, perfect. Stayed above, closed below immediately, stayed below, tried to close above, couldn't, closed below, tapped, stayed below. Yeah, 33.7.5. That's an area where you can manage risk. You don't have to wait down here now, right? Because candles are closing bullish. Don't have to close everything. You can close just like 20%, 30%. If we break the low. And if a 15-minute candle closes below this, then maybe you close even more, another 20% or another 30%. Because price is ranging, right? We're stuck in a range. If you look at the 1 hour, look at that. We're just ranging. We're in this range. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hours. So we're ranging. 1 hour candle closed bullish. That's a good sign. If you break the high, you should push up. But this 30-minute current candle needs to break the high, not the next one, this one. That tells us that there is volume and price can push up another 70, 80 pips. but this one needs to break the high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably wait for a 15-minute back candle to close below 3307.5 to manage risk. 15-minute back candle. That's what I'm going to do. So then, yeah, let's see. Depending on where it closes, if it closes somewhere here, that's about a 30 pip risk. That's fine. That's fine. That's how you you minimize your risk. So you wait for the best entry, wait for the setup, take the best possible entry, right? Wait for the best price. We're breaking the high now. This high is 471, high 475. Yeah, we broke the high. We should continue now. There should be volume now. Should be volume to push through. Um, okay, we took the trades down here. Um, and then you find a way to manage risk. You don't get out, you don't have your hard stop loss there or under 3,300 and then just forget about it and walk away. You don't do that. You manage risk and you try to minimize it, right? So instead of losing maybe 80 pips, 70, 80 pips, you lose like half of that, 35, 40 pips. Yeah, we're in this range, right? We're unfortunately in this range. We've been here for a very long time. So, and once you break these highs, then we come back to this. If we break the high, if we close above, sorry, if the 50-minute can close above, then we come to 3322, and then we hopefully have volume to continue to 3329 and maybe even higher. Yeah, we want a 15-minute close. We still have about 7.5 minutes for the candle to close. It's getting close to the NYSE open. We've got about 25 minutes to the NYSE open. Let's see. Should push up. Yeah, here we go. Did we break the high here? This high? 599 high. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. It doesn't matter even if it breaks the high. The candle has to close above 333, 1350. If it doesn't, coming back down. Price can go only in two directions. If it doesn't show us confirmations the price is going up, if it doesn't show us confirmations the price is going up, i.e. close above 33, 1350, that means it's coming down. All right, and that's why you need to manage risk. So you got to think quickly. If you're not seeing if you're not seeing a confirmation or confirmations that price is trying to head up, that means it's coming down. So then you get into risk management mode, right? And that is why I have these levels here: 330750, 3302, 3300. They're important levels. Volume should be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is NFP week. So Monday, Tuesday, maybe not. Yesterday, we had volume, but no setup. Today, there is a setup, but is there volume? Is the question. There seems to be volume. We have big candles. It's a 100 pip candle. It's an 84 pip candle. 76 pip candle. 65. It's dying. Volume is dying, but we have volume. Yeah, we need a close 15-minute candle close above 33, 1350. Let's see how this trade plays out, and then maybe I'll give out a setup for the next 2.5 hours of after NYSE open. It all depends on what price does when it gets to this area. If it gets to this area. Yeah, we broke the high. We broke these highs. But the 50-minute candle needs to close above. Give me a thumbs up if any of you took the trade, if you're in the trade, if you're in buys. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're in buys. I guess I'm the only one who took buys. 2 minutes more for the candle to close. Let's wait. Waiting for the 15-minute candle to close. The trade is running. We took buys. After 30 minutes support was formed, we drew the fib. And when price dipped in, we took those buys, anticipating price to head to 33.22, 33.24, and 33.29. Yeah, that's about 230 pips. Should get. Let's see if we can get there. But you'd want to take, if you did take buys, if you didn't take it, then doesn't matter. But if you did take buys, you want to close 50-60% at this 3 RR level around 33.22, 33.24, either, whichever that you're comfortable with. You need to close partial positions here because we're tapping a liquidity candle once we get there. We're tapping a liquidity candle. The same liquidity candle that was tapped in the London session. It was tapped twice in the London session. We'll be tapping it again if price gets there. If it does, we're going to be tapping it again. So you want to take partial positions. 30 seconds more. I think the candle might close. Yeah, I think we should close. Yeah, we should close above this. 20 seconds. Let's see. Yeah, it should close. It should close with a wick to fill, because then the next candle has a range to trade into. Closes somewhere here, great, and then it can fill this wick and continue higher. We spoke about this at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, okay, so it's got a wick to fill and we closed above 33.1350. That's a good sign. We spoke about this candle, this 15-minute candle, also the 30-minute candle, no top wick. So it should be coming at least there or higher. I'll be here for another 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes more. Yeah, 10 minutes, maybe 10. So going back to what we discussed, okay, however this trade turns out, it doesn't matter. I'm going to manage risk at these areas, right? So I'm not too worried about that. We spoke about, what is that? We spoke about this, right? We said we are in a range. So we can take sells at the top of the range and buys at the bottom of the range, which we've done. Towards the bottom of the range, we've taken the buys and sells at the top of the range, right? So this area, anything above here, anything above 33.29 to around 33.43 or higher, that's the top of the range, right? So if price gets to this level, gets to the London high and above it, then and we have a 30-minute resistance form and a tradable 30-minute back handle close, then you can look to take sells, right? Because these are the buys. The price comes up there, you can look to take sells. But remember, this is a very large liquidity candle, 170 pip candle that has been tapped twice. So wait for price to come deeper, not here, but deeper, around 33.29 or even higher than 33.29. Then wait for 30-minute resistance to form and a tradable 30-minute back handle to close, and wait for the pullback and take the sells to come back down, right? Your safer stop loss would be above the liquidity candle high. A more aggressive stop loss would be above the 30-minute candle high that created resistance. And you would need to look for 15-minute resistance or 30-minute resistance to manage risk at. That's if price comes up. We don't know yet because price is still trying to push back down. closed above this, we should push up. Yeah, should push up. It's this ugly range that we're in. This block, this block, 140, 130, 140 pip block, maybe here. It's about a 120, in fact. Yeah, 120 pip block that where price is stuck in right in the middle of it. That's why it's taking so long. And it's a non-news day, so we're not moving. Now, later on, we have news. We have news that will probably bring volume, a little volume. That's in about 45 minutes from now. Yeah, around 10 a.m. EST, right? 10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. EST we have news. 9:20. Yeah, 10 a.m. EST we have news. So you might, yeah, 45 minutes we should have some news. You might have volume then. So if you are trading, if you are in these buys, then hold the buys. If price, it could run to 3329 or it could even run high to around, where else could it run above 3329? I don't think it's going to go above too much higher than 3329, but yeah, no, 3329, maybe 3333, another 40 pips above that, maybe. But that's a liquidity candle that's going to push price back down. So that's why I said 3329. Yeah, so we pushed back down. Look at that. Price came, we created it, we closed above 33.30. The 15-minute candle closed above. This one pulled back down, created a bottom wick, broke the high. Right? 30-minute candle should close bullish. Yeah, 30-minute candle should close bullish. 9 minutes more the candle to close, should close bullish. We should be heading up above this. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, gonna end the stream now. Maybe 5 minutes. Okay, we'll wait another 5 minutes. It's been very slow. We've just we're stuck in this range, this 1 hour range. Prices, even though we've broken the highs, we're struggling to continue to push higher. It's very, very slow. It's expected. There is no news today. Said this at the beginning of the stream. First 2 hours and why open, no news. Back candle, 5 minute back candle. Could push down. I could push down. Strong back candle. Yeah, it's just waiting. Nothing's happening. Should have volume. Well, better volume. Cleaner volume tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday, Friday should have cleaner volume. All right, that's the end of the stream. It's got about what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes for the candle to close. I'll be here for another minute, then end the stream. Yeah, 5 minute candle closed below 1350, probably a pullback. We're back to the EMAs. The EMAs are again together, flatlining, right? That tells you everything you need to know about the charts right now. When these two EMAs are together, flatlining like this, we're just moving sideways. There is no volume. That's what it means. When these two EMAs are just moving parallel to each other, they should be far apart from each other, like this, far apart from each other to take trades, to have decent movement. When the moment they are like this together moving parallel, that means you don't have volume. All right, so as I said, For sells, the trade that we took, the trades that we took from here, the setup that we took were the buys. These are the levels to manage risk at: 330750, 3302, 3300. I will be managing risk at 330750 and 3302. I won't be waiting for 3300. TP levels are this: 3322, around 3324, and then 3329, and maybe even at 3333, right? If we get there. I don't know. Maybe we will. 3333, right? 30-minute candle is pushing up now. That's good to see that. Yeah, we got a minute for the candle to close and we're pushing up. Good. All right, so that's the end of the stream. For sells, wait for price to push up to the top of the range, which is around this area, just like that's the bottom of the range, that's the top of the range. Wait for price to get there, either to any liquidity area, right? 3329 weekly SR, the liquidity candle, this liquidity candle 3350, and then wait for 30-minute resistance to be created and a 30-minute tradable bear candle to close to take the sells to come down. All right, that's the end of the stream. I'll be back here tomorrow 7:30 a.m. EST, and we'll look for a setup, right, for the first 2 hours of the NY Open, right? The trade idea that I'm giving, the trade setup I'm giving are sells from the top of the range, right? That's the top of the range right there. And that's the bottom of the range. All right, take care. Stay safe. Don't over trade. Don't over risk. See you tomorrow.